Hey, what's up, guys? It's Destry. Welcome back to my yard. I'm going to do some gardening today, and I thought I'd bring you along. So let's check out my bulb haul from Costco. We're going to get some of these bulbs in the ground today. Let's do this. If you're new here, welcome. I like to do all things gardening, hanging out in my yard. I do vegetables, cut flowers, a little bit of crafting, a little bit of decorating. So if you're new here, I'm so glad you're here. And if you've been hanging out with me for a while, then I'm so glad that you decide to watch. Mr. Midnight's joining us. We also have a lot of pet cameos. I've got Milo and Max, my two Aussie Doodles as well. Anyway, bulbs. Let's talk bulbs, people. If you're a gardener, you know that Costco bulbs go on sale in the fall, and I was lucky enough to snag some in my local Costco. So let me show you what I got, and then I'm going to get at least some of these planted up today while the weather's nice. So the first one I got are some hyacinth. I have never grown these before, but I have heard that when you handle the bulbs, you should definitely wear gloves. I heard that they can be a little bit, people can be sensitive to them and they're a little bit hard to handle. So definitely going to wear gloves. I usually wear gardening gloves anyway. I know some people don't like to garden with gloves on, but I am one of the people that do. Anyway, this is called, let's see, there's 10 Blue Jacket and 10 Gypsy Princess. That's the white. And then it looks like blooms mid-spring, 6 inches apart, 6 inches depth. So those are the main things I want to keep in mind when planting for spacing. Then I got some alliums. Now this is a different type of allium than I have grown before. I have some really big ones. I think they're called like king alliums or something. This one are called Purple Sensation and Mount Everest. So there's two kinds in here. The Purple Sensation are the purple ones. There's 14 of those and 6 of the white Mount Everest. Can you see Midnight here? Hello. He just wants to be in the mix. So for these ones, they bloom late spring, and it says that the 5-inch spacing, 5-inch depth. So that's kind of handy that, you know, about the same length apart, about the same length down. And I'm going to show you the bulb planter that I got last year that makes this job a lot easier. And then I did grab just a few irises. There's only 4 bulbs in here, which doesn't seem like a lot, but irises are big and the foliage is big. So you need kind of a place where they can establish, and they do perennialize here. So there's only 2 of each kind, the Florentine Silk and His Royal Highness. These are late spring, 12-inch apart. So again, much bigger distance and only 1 inch deep. So that are those. I did get one other type of allium, and these ones are like a little drumstick allium. So they're much smaller. So in this bag are 100 bulbs. So if you can peek in here, they're pretty tiny. So that tells me that the blooms are also going to be, you know, kind of tiny, but it will be pretty like in a cluster. So these are early summer bloomers, 4 inches apart and 4 inches deep. So I'm excited to give those a try. I think they'll be really pretty. And then I got 2 different kinds of narcissus, or what's commonly known as a daffodil. This one is a 50 of the jet fire, these braces, jet fire, early to mid-spring, 6 inches across, 6 inches down. And these ones I thought were really pretty because I liked the neck that is that orange color. And I think that they're kind of a smaller. So there's 50 of them in here. I thought that was a good deal. And then, oh, the granddaddy of them all are the big ones. These are 25 of the Sempre Avanti, and 25 Fortune. So this, the first one I said is the white, and the Fortune is the golden color. These are a mid-spring, 6 inches across, 6 inches down. And I mean, can you ever have too many of these? I love having these in the spring. They're just one of the first things that pop up in my area. Cut them, put them in vases, gift them to friends. They're so much fun. So Midnight's very excited to help me plant up some of these bulbs today. I have a couple spots in mind. Now I am going to be doing some containers. I'm going to be doing at least one of my Vego raised garden beds today. And then I'm probably going to be clearing out some of the other areas of my yard. I'll probably be putting in some in areas where I've had some annuals. And that's the cool thing about bulbs. A few things about them is that you can you know, plant them under the ground, and then you can also plant annuals on top of them when they are done blooming and you cut them back. At least that's usually what I do. Another cool thing about them is you can layer them in containers. So for instance, if you had 2 different kinds that needed to be planted at different depths and bloomed at different times, you could actually do what's called a lasagna planting, where you plant one varietal and then have some dirt and plant a second varietal. And I've even seen people do a third varietal. So I don't know how brave I'm going to be to experiment with that, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get into that and do some containers. But mainly today, I want to do my garden bed that I have kind of earmarked for this task, and some areas in my landscape, because I know that they will perennialize and come back every year and just provide. It's a good investment in your yard, right? Because you know they're going to come back. At least in my area, I'm zone 8B, and so you feel like when you buy the bulbs and put them in, it's not just buying a bouquet of flowers that dies, or buying an annual plant that will die at the end of the season. You know that they're going to continue to come back every spring and bring you that floral interest. So it's a pretty worthwhile activity to plant bulbs in your yard. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll bring you along on my task. I don't know that I'll get it all done today, but hopefully I can get some of these in the ground today. So let's get to it. So I'm starting the process by just laying out all the bulbs and placing everything. I like to place them sort of in a stair stuffer arrangement, meaning not in exact rows, but every other. And then I'm using my bulb digging tool. I got this a couple years ago, and it's been a great help to get those bulbs in the ground. In this bed, I'm doing all of the hyacinth bulbs, and then I am doing in the back of that the daffodils, some of the daffodil bulbs. Next up, I'm moving over to Maggie's garden bed. I will link a video down below where I've worked on this garden bed before, but I decided this is where I'd like to put the alliums. So I am digging some holes and getting those ready for the allium bulbs. Of course, Max had to come check out what I was doing, and I'll be honest, the next day after I planted all these, half of them were dug up by Mr. Max. I was not real pleased about that. Milo also wanted in on the fun, so he's checking out me putting in the allium bulbs. Now I decided since they're so small, I put 3 bulbs per hole, and that way I'll get a really nice show of the drumstick alliums here.
Now up behind my hydrangeas, I decided to put more of the daffodil bulbs to finish off the pack that I had started in my Vego garden bed. So that way I'll have some really pretty yellows and reds along with my hydrangeas that'll be leafing out, and of course the alliums too. It'll be a really nice show. Unfortunately, I didn't get all the bulbs that I had purchased planted on this day, so stay tuned for another video where I will be planting up more bulbs in my front garden beds. But I was pretty happy with what I did get done. There's something so exciting knowing that all of these will be beautiful flowers in the spring. I'm very excited to see how it all turns out. Now it's just time to cover everyone back up and make sure that they are tucked in for the winter. Like I said, unfortunately, my dogs did dig some of these bulbs up the next day, so I ended up having to replant several of them, but that's okay. They're dogs after all.
Thanks so much for hanging out in my yard with me today and checking out my bulb haul and helping me get some of these planted. I hope that you learned something new, enjoyed watching the video. If so, if you could please like the video and subscribe to my channel, it would mean the world to me. It would mean the world to Midnight. And also, I just wanted to mention that I have put a few new links on the description of my videos where you can go in and see what some of my favorite gardening supplies are, some of my favorite gardening gloves and different things that I use in my videos. And I do get a small little portion if you click on one of those links and purchase from me. And all that does is help me to keep producing these videos for you, because it does take some time and effort to put them together for you. I enjoy doing it, but it would mean a lot to me if you would look at the list, see if there's anything you might need, and add that to your cart. So Midnight and I hope that you are able to go hang out in your yard today. And if you need us, we'll be hanging out in the yard. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.